Okay, guys, welcome back. We have another question from the first chapter of Mechanics of Materials from Hibbeler textbook, and we need to determine the largest load P that can be applied to the frame without causing either the average normal stress or the average shear stress at the section AA. So we have this section right here that should not exceed 150 megapascal for the average normal stress and 60 megapascal for the average shear stress. We need also the member CB has a square cross-sectional area of 25 millimeter on each side. So we have the area, we just have to figure out the force in that member in order to solve this question. So basically what we need to do, we know our cut is this AA section, and going to be dealing with this part of the section because it's easier, and because this member BC is also a two-force member, the force will be along the line that connects B and C. So all we need to do in here is just find the force BC, and after that we have the normal force on this together with the shear force. We can just call that one maybe along this line, V and N. So V for the shear force and N for the normal force. And we have one force, we can call it FBC. And I'm not going to show the direction for now because that's something that we need to figure out. The question is, how do we find the force FBC? So if we start with drawing the free body diagram of the joint C, we're going to be dealing with a particle free body diagram where we have the force P. At point C, we have the force in member AC. Again, this member is also a two-force member because we have force applying on two ends, which means the force in that member would be along the line that connects A and C. So let's just consider this direction for now, FAC. And we can consider one force for the member BC, which is also a two-force member. So FBC, we have our equilibrium equations that we can use to solve this. Let's start with because we're not interested in FAC, so if we just consider our x and y in this direction, we're going to start with sum of all forces in y equals 0, again because of the equilibrium, and this is our positive y. We have y component of FBC, which if you multiply these by 2, each of these sides, this will be 4, this will be 3, and this will be, the hypotenuse will be 5. That's the famous combination that we have. So the actual side in here would be 2.5, but because the ratio is important for us, we can go with that ratio or just use the dimensions that we have. I just multiply this by 2 because 3, 4, 5 is one of those famous combinations that make things easier. But let's just go. So if we do the Pythagorean theorem, we get this size 2.5 meter, and now FBC, the y component would be the sine of this angle, if we call it alpha, which is 4/5 or 2 divided by 2.5, same thing. Let's just go with this 2/2.5. So that's the force, the y component of FBC, and we have also P, which is negative, and this will be equal to 0. Now we can figure out that FBC is equal to 2.5 P/2. If we multiply this by 5, it's going to be 1.25 P BC. All right, now that we have FBC, we can move on to our section. Also, this direction shows that the member BC is in tension, so this is the correct direction for FBC because the member would be in here and it will be in tension. All right, so now let's move on to our section. So this is for the red section. I'm just gonna try to color code these with the free body diagram. So now we are using the free body diagram of the section. And again, we have the same angle here, alpha. We can do sum of all forces in y, and we'll do the x after, or we can start with the x. So sum of all forces in x equals 0. We have the x component of FBC, which is negative, so negative FBC. This time we have cosine of alpha, which is 1.5/2.5. So that's FBC, and we also have the normal force N. I showed the normal force wrong. So our section is vertical, So the normal force has to be perpendicular to that. So this is our N, but the V is correct. So plus N, and basically here our N would be FBC, which we figured 1.25 P times 1.5 over 2.5, which will be 1.25 times 1.5 divided by 2.5. It's going to be 0.75. All right, now we figured the normal force. We're going to move on to sum of all forces in y equals 0. And this time again, we have the y component of FBC, which we figured it's FBC times 2 over 2.5. And also we have the v, which we assumed it's upward, but we're going to get a negative sign in here that shows it's actually downward. So FBC again, we put 1.25 times 2 over 2.5 P, and this will be cancelled out, so it will be equal to negative P. Now that we have the V and N, we already have the values for the shear stress and average normal stress. And based on these, we're going to find two values for P, and we have to decide which one we need to pick. So let's start with the normal force. Sigma is equal to the N over the area. And the area that we have, we know from the question, the bar section. So if we just try to show this a little bit bigger, this is our section, and so this is the section and the area that we are looking for, and this side is from the question we know is 25. And the angle that we are dealing with is the angle alpha again here. Because of that trick that we talked about, when we have two sides that each are perpendicular to each other, these two angles are the same, so that angle is also alpha. And we already know the angle alpha, and since we are interested in A, we can use the cosine of alpha. So cosine of alpha would be 5 over the, and we are dealing with the rectangle and a square, so this side it will be squared. Also the other side here would be 25 too, because we know the section is 25 by 25, so the area that we have is 25 by 25, and this is going to give us the area. And the cosine of alpha also from this dimension we know is 1.5 over 2.5, or 3 over 5. So we can find the area in here, basically 25 times 25 times 5 divided by 3. And because all of these are in millimeter, we need to multiply this by 10 to the minus 6, this value that we have. So 1041.67, that's going to give us meter squared, or the area would be 1.041 times, can do one more digit, 10 to the minus 3 meters squared. And the rest of this is pretty easy, so we just have to put the values in here. And I did that to meters squared because the values that we have in here is in Pascal. So 150 for the average normal stress times 10 to the 6 because it's mega, and N is 0.75 P, and we're gonna have the same area, 1.0417 times 10 to the minus 3. So the P that we get in here is 150 times 10 to the 6 times 1.40417 divided by 0.75. So the force P will be 208,340 newtons, or 208.3 kilonewton. And if you want to report it in 3 sig figs, we can just go with 2.8. So that's 1 P, and we also have the P from the average shear stress, which is 60 megapascals. So 60 again times 10 to the 6, and we figured that it's actually equal to P. Our V is equal to P, and same area again. And let's see what we get in here. So everything's the same except this part, and we need to change 150 to 60. All right, that's going to give us around 62.5 kilonewtons as our second P. And now we have to decide which one is the correct answer. We always go with the lowest value, because if we use this P, that's going to fail our system because it's more than the average shear stress that the system can tolerate. So the correct answer here would be the 62.5 kilonewton. And yeah, I hope everything was clear. Let me know if you guys have any questions. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.